Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video outlining some of the resources that are available right now for some self-paced and at-home professional development that educators can be using. There's been a lot of questions related to this as to how people can, during these times, still continue to increase their digital competence and increase their knowledge of the tools that they're increasingly being asked to use to communicate and connect with students. And there is a lot of content out there. So we wanted to create this video to illustrate some of what's available. So I'm starting here at my page that I use for distributing all of my education technology resources to teachers, administrators, and students across the board. So this is at wakelet.com/@Western Quebec. And I shared that with many of you already, but I wanted to highlight that. So that's where we're going to start as our landing page here. And again, this has resources related to lots of different areas that I cover as part of my role, including Microsoft Education being one of those large platforms. And that's what we're going to focus on here, is what's available specific to schools and teachers that are using Microsoft Office 365 and some of the tools that go along with that. So on the Wakelet page, you can navigate through these collections just by scrolling down, but you can also filter them by what area you might be interested in. So Microsoft Education here is the link on the left, a third one down. So if we click on that, you're going to see a series of collections that are focused on these tools. And we're going to look at this one here, which is entitled Microsoft Education PD. I've shared this Teams resources link with a number of people for assistance around that. But in this video, I want to focus on what's housed here in the Education PD collection. So when you open that collection, this is going to be illustrating a number of the different things that are available with Microsoft Education related to professional development for teachers, for administrators, and again, that can be done in a self-paced model, which is very, very helpful, right, and useful over this time. So the first place that I'm going to highlight is this link here, which is called the Summer School offered by Microsoft Canada. So when you open that link up, it's going to take you to this page. And what the Summer School program is a it's a platform that's free to educators, and it is Canadian focused. And you can see that it's basically access to professional development modules that can be done at home, self-paced over the summer, or really anytime before then. And then there also are some live events that would be connected through a platform like Teams, where there can be some opportunities to attend more typical PD conferences. But the big focus of a lot of this is this self-paced learning. And so as we scroll down here, just illustrating again what this covers, it is focused on these self-paced PD courses and learning paths that Microsoft offers through what's called the Educator Center. And I'm going to highlight that in just a moment here. And then, as they mentioned before, there also will be these single-day events that are available in August. One of the nice things about the Educator Center and these different learning courses and pathways is that it tracks progress through them. So, a teacher or administrator can start on these different learning paths or start on a course and then, spend 15 minutes, half an hour on something, and then you need to leave and sign off for the day. But when you come back, your progress through these modules is constantly tracked. And so you'll know exactly where you left off, and you'll be able to continue on from that moment that you finished previously. And it's done in a way that I personally think is really engaging and promotes sustained growth and pushes people to continue to further their knowledge and further their digital competence. And it's really done through basically through credit and certifications that are earned as you work your way through these modules. And so the summer school program really just consists of people signing up. When you register, you're going to receive a confirmation email, and then within a couple of weeks from now, it's the start of June, but within a few weeks, people will receive email about these different pathways and programs that are available. And the whole idea is to, again, have personalized learning that's at people's own pace, that's targeting where their needs are currently, because as we know, everyone has different skill sets and experience levels already. And so to do a single, en masse PD session, it's really challenging to meet the needs of all learners, right? We have people who would like to have really advanced and really pushing their integration of the technologies that they already know really well. And then we have others that need more support and that need, to develop that comfort and competence using these tools, especially to connect remotely with their students. And so that's one of the big benefits, is these personalized learning pathways. And it's about, as they illustrate here, skilling up of developing digital competence with these tools. So when you register, you can just put in your information here and then click register, and you'll get a confirmation email on that. Now, in the meantime, while you're waiting for those follow-up emails in terms of what's available, all of this, a big part of this is going to be directed through this platform called the Microsoft Educator Center, which I want to highlight here. So if we open that up, this is what the Educator Center looks like. And it is a platform where you can, again, access all of these different courses related to Microsoft technology tools, and then the platform's available with a complete focus on education. This platform is all developed and focused on assisting teachers and administrators with how to use these tools to, again, facilitate student outcomes and to leverage the technology to improve student outcomes. And so that's, again, a really nice focus, that it's not just a help center or learning how to use the tool, it's learning how to use it in education and how that can assist with empowering our students. So you have courses that are standalone courses. People can choose, a particular topic or a particular tool that they want to learn more about, and again, find different levels for those tools. Or you can use what are known as learning paths, which group together a series of related courses to try and reach a certain objective or a certain goal. Right now, I'd say one of the best places to start is this section here, which is why it's featured at the top in the header, which is entitled Get Started with Distance Learning. And I realize, a lot of people are already back in the classroom, but I think this is still a really good launching point for both teachers and administrators in terms of where they access the content. So it outlines, again, things like what we can be doing right now to prepare for these new environments and these potential new reality in the fall as well. And so talking about the training that can be done to prepare ourselves. So there's a section here specific for administrators and for school leaders, and I can outline some of the content there. So this outlines different phases that can be taken and different steps along the way of how you can prepare. And a lot of this, again, has been done for our schools in the WQSB. But this is a great place, again, for administrators to review. And a lot of that is related to, again, being able to connect with staff and how to, share resources and content with staff ongoing during these times. I'm going to go back to this section here, and we're going to focus a little more for the distance learning for educators, because that's really what I want to highlight is what teachers can be doing during their time in order to, again, develop that digital competence we talk about and try to empower our own knowledge and develop, our confidence in using these tools, and to start exploring them further and into greater depths. And again, it's nice because they can be done at the level that you need, and you can find the level that you need. So this section here under distance learning for educators, if we click on Get Started, it's going to outline some ideas for educators of what you can be doing, right now, and how to continue to support your growth. And so one of the first things they talk about is developing a professional learning community. And I know a huge number of our staff are already involved in professional learning communities in some way or another. But this talks about maybe having a way to formalize that, especially for those who are working remotely. How you can do that and how you can continue those professional learning communities. And the big focus on how you can do that through Microsoft tools is using Teams. And so this is talking about inviting teams, our colleagues, to a Teams PLC, where you can support each other and share ideas about your effective online teaching practices. And again, there's links to support and resources of how to do that. And so this first link will outline how to create a team for a PLC if you never have before. They talk about how you can create channels in these teams specific to grade levels or departments, where, again, people could be sharing best practices and sharing their resources they've been using, and house that all in, a single team for the school to access, but in specific channels based on a department or based on a grade level. And then we get into really what I want big focus to be on, which is this self-paced professional development that's available. And again, lots of people have been reaching out to myself and to Lisa and to Ralph in terms of PD that can be done. And we've been delivering remote PD sessions for full staffs and for small groups of staff, or even one-on-one in individuals. But again, in terms of talking about developing that targeted and tiered approach and reaching people where they're at, a self-paced model is a really powerful way to do that. And so this is going to outline what's available in the Microsoft Educator Center. So they talk about how, again, those who start to experience this can share these things out, share out courses they've done that have been useful for them as a teacher and that have been powerful for them. And they recommend particular learning paths to get started with. So there's two that they outline right off the bat, which are, so the first one here, getting started with Office 365 and Windows. And so if you notice that, I'll highlight that just a second. Be right back. Thanks. So my daughter's just let me know it's dinner time. But so here you can see that one of the first ones they recommend is this platform or this learning path of getting started with Office 365 and Windows. Because again, those using our board laptops and board devices, we are running a Windows 10 environment. And so familiarizing yourself with that platform is really useful. And again, with that operating system, that is the starting point to accessing all of these tools. You really do need to have that competence with the operating system. And so that's where it begins. And then it takes people through also understanding platforms like Microsoft Forms and Teams and OneNote, which can be really, really powerful tools. And again, these are done in ways where even if you have limited experience with those platforms before, or no experience, it's taking people and introducing them to the tool, all in a specific focus and with a lens of its use in education. And again, it's used to improve student outcomes. So that's one of the first learning paths they recommend. And then once it says you're familiar with these tools, one of the next ones you could use is this fostering a dynamic remote learning environment with student-centered tools. And a long title, but really this is about how you can, again, kind of take that initial knowledge and then further it and strengthen it to really develop rich remote learning experiences for your students. And so it's focused on the staying connected and, again, really utilizing Microsoft Teams as a kind of your digital hub in your virtual classroom for reaching out and connecting with students. But also, again, practices for how do you keep students engaged through these remote platforms and during remote teaching, which is, again, obviously a challenge. And so it has practical ways that can be done through these platforms. And then a big, very important piece that's outlined in this learning pathway is thinking about accessibility and thinking about how we can still think about all those accommodations we make for our students and the ways that we reach our students with diverse learning needs, how that's done using these tools, because that is something that tend to sometimes be overlooked when people are diving into these platforms. And there needs to be obviously a really cognizant focus on keeping that in mind of how do we do that, making it accessible for all of our learners. So that platform outlines some of the tools that are really already rolled into a lot of these platforms. Things like Immersive Reader. If you've never had a chance to use Immersive Reader, it's a really, really powerful tool assisting students with their reading, their comprehension. And it's built right into all of the Office tools that our students are using. So into Word, into Microsoft Teams, into OneNote. And so it's a very powerful tool that's right there. And again, with teachers facilitating that and showing their students how to utilize that, it can really improve outcomes for them. So those are two of the first learning paths that they focus on. And then there's ideas again about tracking people's development they've done through forms that can be organized individually or school-wide, reaching out for, again, live professional development with external trainers, or again with myself and Lisa that's what we're here for. And so that's easily facilitated through platforms like Teams. But again, once teachers start with those learning pathways, you then have access. That's the starting point. But now you have access to this really rich platform that you can again see at any point. You can see your own steps that you've done and the different courses that you've done, your pathways you've completed. And as you start to complete that, they kind of promote that sustained growth through those certifications and through these badging systems. And so one of the first things that people receive is what's called a Certified Microsoft Innovative Educator badge, which when you've done 2 hours of or 12-hour equivalent of self-paced PD modules, then you receive that recognition. And so I can show you, what that looks like. You do actually have a certificate you can print out or utilize, but it's a way to again recognize the time that teachers have put into those that platform, and to again facilitate and develop their knowledge and their digital competence, and it tracks that for you. And that's really all done through just when you go to access your first course or your first learning path, you'll be prompted to sign in or create an account if you never have before. And we just use our WQSB accounts to do that. So you can enter your WQSB credentials as you normally would at any Microsoft or Office platform, and you'll be able to sign in and track all of your progress. So that really outlines the content I wanted to share with people. And I'm happy to help people explore these different learning paths and recommend, based on needs and based on prior experience with these platforms, recommend courses and learning paths that might be suitable. I've had a chance to explore a lot of them. So that's something I'm absolutely willing to help people to identify. But really that all starts with those tools that are available on the Microsoft Educator in that summer school program I mentioned. And again, I've got all of those listed on my Wakelet collection of resources, which is wakelet.com at Western Quebec. So again, I encourage people to explore what's there. And the beautiful thing is that it's can be done at your own pace, and you can start very simple and start with a small amount, or you can really dive in great depths if that's the direction people want to start moving to. So I encourage everyone to take a look at that, and then please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions you might have. Again, my email is sgray@wqsb.qc.ca, and I'd be happy to connect and talk about this journey further with people. All right, take care.